Okay. So next to today class and the next week class, we will learn about the database. Okay. So in order to move ahead and understand what is database, first of all, what is data, that we have to understand. So all of you means most of you knows about it. So data is basically any kind of information about any person or about any things, right? So in simple words, you can see, if you read this, data can be a facts related to any object in consideration. For example, name, age, height, weight, picture, image, file, PDF, all these are data. Something which gives information about something, and that can be stored, that we can store anywhere. So that is known as data. So database basically a place where you can store all this data. So database is a systematic collection of data. It supports electronic storage and manipulation of data. Manipulation of data means you can fetch the data, you can modify the data, you can delete the data. This kind of thing you can perform with the help of, if you store the data in the database. Okay, database makes the data management job very easy. Easily you can store it, you can maintain it for the future purpose. If you take an example, then let's suppose an online telephone directory uses a database to store the data of the people, phone number, and other contacts. Your electricity service provider uses a database to manage the billings, client-related issues, handling faulty data, etc. If you talk about the Facebook, then it also store, manipulates, and presents the data related to members, their friends, activities, messages, advertisements, and a lot more. We can provide a countless number of example of using database. So any application, if you see, so there is a two part of an application. One is the front end part, and one is the back end part. The back end part is basically the database where all the data are stored. If you use any application, let's suppose Facebook or any other application, there you see lots of data. So from where all these data are coming? So all these data are basically stored in the database. The application is connected with the database, and from the data, all the information you are actually, you can see on the application. On any Flipkart, if you take the example of Flipkart application, if you wish list something, then it gets stored in the database. That is why you are able to see your wish list details. If you add something in a cart, so tomorrow if you go back and check the cart, same product will be added over there unless you remove it. So how all these things getting stored and you can see. So everything is connected with the database. So that is why database as of nowadays is very important. In terms of testing, not advanced level of knowledge you need, but a very basic level of knowledge you require. You should have the knowledge, basic knowledge of database. Basic knowledge of database means you can create a database, you can modify the data, you can delete the data. This kind of query, you should be aware of how to write and how to do it. So if you talk about programs, so we need to learn a programming language. Simply in the database also you need to learn query, how to write query, everything. Any, if you have to perform anything in on the database, for that you have to write a query. So this thing you have to learn in part as part of the database.
So Sunny, cloud is also a database application, na? Cloud.
Yes. Yes. Cloud is also an example of database. Okay, so this is database, and what is SQL? So this is the SQL is the standard language. This is the language which we have to learn if we have to. perform any operation on the database. So this is the like there is a core Java language, there is a Python language. Similarly, for database, there is a SQL language. SQL means structured query language. Its full form is structured query language. Sometimes it is also pronounced as SQL. Sometimes we call it as SQL. Sometimes it is also pronounced as SQL. So it is basically a database. It is basically a language for dealing with the databases. What we can do, you can insert a data in the database. You can search something from the database. You can update, you can delete the records from the database. This kind of operations you can perform with the help of this language. So in database part, we will learn about SQL. There are lots of databases are available: Oracle, MySQL, and lots of. So among that, we will learn about MySQL.
So Sunny, in testing there will be two languages, right? .NET and SQL.
Yes, .NET. It can be .NET or it can be Java. It depends on the project. Which language they are basically using.
Okay.
Okay, but backend part will be same. The database part. Only thing, anyone can use Oracle database, anyone can use MySQL database, anyone can use Microsoft SQL. So there are different database, different providers. But the query part will be same. The language part will be same.
So the language, the database.
Sorry, come again.
SQL is a language or it is a database?
No, SQL is a language. Oracle, there is a Oracle database. There is a MySQL database. There is a Microsoft server database. So different company provides its own database product. Any of one we can use, but in order to use that, we need to learn a program. We need to learn a language that is SQL.
Right.
Okay. So why we use SQL? In order to access the data, it helps you to describe the data. It allows you to define the data in the database and manipulate that specific data. With the help of SQL, you can create and you can drop the database and tables. You can set permissions on the tables. So how we will do everything, we will do that one by one. Okay. So if you have gone through the WhatsApp chat, there I have shared one YouTube link, and I have told everyone to install the MySQL database on your system so that you can practice. So if you haven't gone through that, please go through the chat and uh, install the database in your system, and then whatever I'm explaining, you can practice.
Yes, Sunny, I will do that.
Okay.
Hmm.
So once that installation part is done, so this will open. Let me open it again. Once installation part is done, so here you have to search Workbench. Once you search Workbench, so Workbench will open. Just open this. Okay, so this will be by default available. This root option. Just click on this. Now it will ask you to provide the password. So this password will be same that you will give while installing this one. So when you do the installation, it will ask you to provide a password. So you have to remember the password. Same password you will provide it. Once it is done, you will be connected here. Okay. Now after that, in this workbench, there will be some by default databases created. By default, already created database will be available. So how you can get that information? So for that, you have to run this query. Now all the query that I am going to explain all are SQL, all are structured query language. Based on that language, we are writing all the query. So this is the first query. If you just write show databases in semicolon, select this, and here this option you have to click. So once you click, you will be able to see all the databases. So these many databases, this one I have created, this and this are by default available. Now in order, you can store the data in a database. So any of this database you have to select, and that you can use for storing the data. So now you have to understand the structure. So the top level is the database. Under a database, you can create different tables. In a database, you can store multiple data, right? You can store a data about students. You can store the data about any company, any project. So in a single database, you can store multiple information about different things, student, teachers, any application, or anything else. So if you talk about, like, I have to store the details of a student. Like, in there is a school, in that school there are lots of students, and I have to store the data of all the students. So data will be related to student, right? And in that school there is one MySQL database available. So in this database, first of all, you have to create a table. So what will be the table? Since you are going to store the details about a student, so the table name will be student. In the same way, if you are using a Flipkart application, if you have to store the data of Flipkart application, so in the database, you have to create a table of Flipkart. And then you can start storing the data in that table.
So Sunny, SQL work like a command, right? Like we have to write first, like open database, then it will give all the option to open all the database.
Yes. So basically, it is a command or query.
Uh,
Okay. So we have database. Any of the database you can use. I am using this one as of now. Okay. So under this database, I will create a table. So how you can create a table? So before creating a table, you are going to create a table of a student. So first of all, you have to gather all the information that you are going to put in the about a student. Okay. So what I have done, I have already created. So what is the language for writing? If you have to create any table, so what is the language? Like, what is the command you have to write? So first you have to start with create space table space. This is the database name, SYS. Under a single quote, you have to write dot, and then here you have to give the table name under double quote. Sorry, under single quote. It means this table you want to create under this database. And why it will create? Because you are writing a command create table of this name under this database. So this is the first line you have to write. Now this, then you have to give this one, opening closing bracket. Now under this opening closing bracket, you have to write all this information. What is the information? A student can have roll number. So you have to write roll under single quote. And what will be the type? A roll number can store which kind of data? It can store integer data. It cannot, a roll number cannot be decimal. It can only be integer. So here you have to define the type, int. Then name. So a name is nothing but a string. So in core Java, there is a string. Similarly, in SQL, there is varchar, and this is the length. Like there will be a name of an student, and what can be the maximum limit of a name? So 150 characters. So that length you have to specify. So this is the second details about the student. And here you can write or you cannot, you can leave it also. Not null. Not null means a student name cannot be null. That means there cannot be a record about an student which will not have its name, which will not have the name. Let's suppose there is a roll number, there is a gender, there is a date of birth, but there is no name of the student. So this is not possible. So if anyone tries to insert the details about a student in the table without providing the name, so that value should not be accepted. So if you make it as not null, so that means now it is mandatory to provide the name. If you do not write not null, then it can be, you cannot give the name, and the details will be stored. So if there is a certain requirement where this should be mandatory, this should be available, this should have to be provided. So you can make that one as not null. Then it has to be a value. Whoever will store the details, he has to give the value for this column. Under a table, everything that you are create will be a column. So there will be a roll number column, name column, similarly gender. Gender can be male or female. So again, it is a string, so the type is varchar. Then there is a date of birth. So for date of birth, there is a type called date. Address can be a string, so varchar. Contact number can be a varchar. Email can be a varchar. And the maximum length you can give. If you want to make all mandatory, so everywhere you can write not null. If you do not think it is necessary, so leave it as it is. So under this database, you are creating a table where 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 columns will be there. Okay. Everything you have to separate with comma. If you see, and lastly, I have written primary key. And under this, I have mentioned about role. So what is primary key? So a primary key is a column in a relational database that is used to uniquely identify each record in a table. If I tell you to give me the record about the student whose roll number is 6, so you can tell me, you can easily go to the database, you can search the student information whose roll number is 6, and you can provide me the details. So in a student table, there can be multiple records. So how you will uniquely identify each and every record? Name can be like my name is Sunny, your name can also be Sunny. There can be multiple student whose name is Sunny, but there should be some information about that particular person who's which uniquely identifies that person. Like in a company, there is an employee ID that uniquely identifies me, that uniquely identifies you. So that is the primary key that uniquely identifies about me, you. Name cannot identify a person uniquely because there can be multiple person whose name is same, but roll number cannot be same. Roll number will be different, unique. So that any one of the column you have to make unique. So how you will make unique? So any of the, you have, first of all you have to identify which column can uniquely identify a record. So here roll number can uniquely identify. So that is why just after column, lastly I have written primary key, and in this I have written roll number, roll, the column name. So this will be the column which will uniquely identify all the records in the table. And lastly, just put semicolon. After that, select all this and click on this. Once you click on this, here it is saying table all student already exists. Since I have already created it, so again it is not allowing me to create. But for you, it will display you message table student is created. So how you will, once it is created, so how you will be able to see? So for that, next query is select asterisk from. Now table name and the database name you have to write assisted students. This table you have created, so that you can see by writing this query. Select this and click on this. So now see, this is the table which is created in the database. Roll number, name, gender, date of birth, address, contact number, email. As of now, I have just created the structure, that is the column. I haven't inserted any records. That is why all the values are null. Once you will start adding, so one by one, all the records will be added in this table. So right now you have just created the structure. There is no data in the table. So you can see this structure by writing this query. Select asterisk. Asterisk means all the columns of that table you can view. If you specifically write any column name, then only that column you can see, right? Like if you write select roll from this, and if you run this, so only roll column will you will see. But if you want to see all the columns, then simply write asterisk. So this will display you all the columns available in the table. Okay. So Rahul, you have joined half an hour late, so that is why you don't know what is sys. Sys is the database. So please go through the recordings, then you will understand in detail what is sys and how we are selecting this. Sys, as a shown high level, I will tell it is a database under which we are creating a table student. Okay. So we have created a table. We have this query to view the table. Okay. All the table details we can see, specific details also we can see. Now we will insert some data in the table. So in order to insert, there is a command insert is used to store the data in the table. So this is the command that you have to write. So insert into, so where you want to insert, in this table you want to insert, so the table name you have to write. Insert into table name. Okay. And then here you have to provide all the columns name, like whatever the columns you have created. So you have created, so all the columns name one by one you have to write. Okay. Whatever the columns you have created, all the columns name you have to mention, and then you will write values. So under this you have to provide the values. So suppose 1, Then name will be, let's suppose I'm giving my name. Then gender will be male. Then date of birth, any date of birth you can give. So let's suppose I'm giving any random date. Okay. Then you can give address, any address you can give. So as of now, I'm just giving Kolkata. Then address after that contact number. So any contact number you can give. Then last is the email. So any email ID you can give. Okay. After this, just write one semicolon and then select this and run this. So here it is saying incorrect data, incorrect date values. So what is the error? Incorrect date value 23-5-1993 for column date of birth. So how it stores the date of birth? So in that sequence, you have to provide these details. Again, it is showing wrong. I think it is first tab we have to write year, then I think it is month, and then it can be date. Let's see if this syntax is working or not. So yes, it worked. So this is the one row affected. That means one row has been added into the table. So the problem is that this in this syntax it accepts the date value. First year, then month, then date. So one record we have added in the database. How we can show that? So again, select this query, run this. So see, one record is added in the database, right? So in this way, you can add multiple details, right? So let's suppose again, let's suppose another record I'm adding. This can be seen. Date of birth you can change. Okay. So roll number, name, mail, date of birth, anything else. Mobile number also you can change. Email ID also. Any email ID you can give as of now. And then add one more record. So see, one more row is affected. Now let's run this again and check whether the record is added or not. So yes, one more record is added. Okay. So in this way, we add a record in the data in the table.
So,
This is
so
the
if we have to add multiple student names, so we have to do one by one. There is no any function that uh, automatically there will be 100 student names will be captured there.
okay. So all the details you have to write one by one only. Means automatically it cannot capture. Means one by one you have to add all the details. You have to change these values. Okay. So as of now, let's stick with the two records. So as of now, what we have learned, how to create a table, how to view the table, how to add a record in the table. Okay. Before that, we have seen how we can view the database, how many databases are created. You can also create a database by your own. Just write create, and if you write database, so database option will come. And here you need to just give the database any database name. And if you select this and run, so it will create a database with that name. If you select this again and if you run, so see a database has been created. So this is the query for running, creating a database. This is the query for viewing the database. And this is for creating a table. This is for viewing the table and this is for inserting a record in the table. Okay. I will provide all this query or let me provide now only. You can note down. This is related to database and all these are related to, as of now, tables. Okay, so you can note down all this. So once the record is added, now what is the next query which we can use is insert is done. You can delete. You can before deleting you can even update also. For update there is a query which is known as update. Just to start with update. Okay. Then you have to again write the table name. So update in this table what? Just a second. Okay, so for update you have to write update, then this table name. And next you have to write the column which you want to update. So let's suppose I want to update the name as Rahul. Where? uh, set name equal to Rahul, where role equal to true. Yes. So update is the keyword that you have to write, then table name, then set name Rahul, where roll number is 2. So roll number 2 name you want to update. So you have to write set name as Rahul that you want to update. So which record name you want to update? So where roll number is 2. So this you have to write, then select this and run. So here one row is affected, it is showing. And now if you view the table again, so you will see Majid is updated with Rahul. Okay. So this is how we update table name, then set what which column you want to update, then the value, where what is the roll number. So the roll number 2 name you want to update. So this information you have to write in this way. You have to practice all this command, then it will be you will be remember then you will remember all this. So it starts with update, then table name, set, then column name equal to value, then where roll number equal to this. Roll number is the column that uniquely identifies the records, and so that is why we have used roll. And if you do not want to use roll, so you can use date of birth also, where date of birth is this. So this value you have to give. So the name will be changed whose date of birth is this one. Let's suppose here if I write where uh, address equal to Kolkata. Okay, and now if I run this, once again, okay, so it is not it is showing something. You are using safe update mode and you try to update a table without a where that uses a key value. Okay. To disable safe mode, toggle the option in the preference SQL editor and reconnect. So there must be any option preferences. So there is a preference. Toggle. Toggle, is there any toggle? I need to check this. What is the toggle option? As of now, I will check this. It is basically opened in the safe mode. So in the safe mode, it is not allowing me to update and the data. Uh, if I give another name, let's suppose say it again. No, it is not happening because there are multiple records where the value Kolkata is available. So it is not allowing right as of now. I will check how to disable this and then we can do that. Okay. So this is how update is the keyword which used to update any data. Similarly, there is a keyword called delete, which can help us to delete any data. So delete from, then table name, where where role equal to true. Okay, and so it will delete that data which has a roll number 2. So one row affected, and now if you run this again, so one record is deleted. Okay, now you can add one more record. Okay, so the previous record is again added. So this is how we can create, we can update, we can delete, we can insert. For adding the data, insert is there, for updating, update is there, and for deleting, delete is there, and for creating, create is there. So this language you have to practice. Okay, so anyone has any confusion?
No, Sunny.
Because in that way you can create, you can start practicing like this one only. You must create a table with different columns, then add details, modify the details, practice all this information. So this is so in the testing field, basically what we do, we update any data from the database, then we go to the application and see whether the details that we have updated in the database is reflecting in the application or not. Similarly, we'll delete any data and we go to the application, and there we see if the record is deleted, or if we can add a delete also. We can also add a record and see that record is added in the application or not. So these are the things as a testing perspective we do, and that is what we need to learn in the database. All this query. As I said, there is a front end application and there is a back end application. Let's suppose Flipkart application. So Flipkart is the front end application. It is connected with a back end database. So all the products, shirt, t-shirt, pants, all the product details that you are basically you can see, you can see on the Flipkart, all are coming from a database. So if in database you will add a new item, so that new item will be available on the Flipkart. If you delete, so that will not, that will be deleted. So for that you need to learn all this query. Sometimes you have to do backend testing also, where this kind of things we have to do. If there are simple queries, so these are the simple queries that you have to write and you have to test. If that is complex, then there will be a developer. You can connect with the developer and ask them like, this is the thing you want to test, so can you give me a query about this? So he will create a query for you and he will provide, if the query is complex, because as a tester we do not have the ability, we do not have that knowledge to uh, write complex query, because we do not have much information about the tables. We basically test everything on the front end application, so we do not have more knowledge about tables. but developers are the person who are creating all these tables, so they have the sufficient knowledge, so they can help you in this area. But for a small query like this that I have explained, this one you have to write by your own. So that is why you should have the basic knowledge of your database. This is required. Okay. Now in the where clause, here you have written select asterisk from system.students, right? So it is displaying you all the details about this table. In the update, you have used this where clause. In the delete, you have used where clause. Similarly, here in the select also you can use a where clause. So select asterisk from this where roll number equal to 2. So now if you run this, so it will only display you the details about the student whose roll number is 2. Okay. Let me add some more details. 3. Suppose this and Kolkata, then change the phone number. Okay. And add, add this to plot also. 1 second. Volume count doesn't match value count at row number 1. Insert into this volume count value count. Okay. So we have given roll number, name, then gender, then date of birth. Oh, okay, comma. Okay, one row is affected. So now if we write here, if we want to see all the records, so that also we can see. So three records are available right now. So we, if in order to view the records, you can also use a specific condition. Based on that condition, it will display you the result. If you write roll number as 2, so it will only display you the record where roll number is 2. Or if you write here where uh, Kolkata, where address equal to Kolkata. And now if you select this, so it will display you all the records where addresses are, where the address is Kolkata. Okay. Not only one condition, you can write multiple conditions also. Where address equal to Kolkata and roll equal to 2. In that case, based on these two conditions, it will display the record. So where address will be Kolkata and roll number will be 2. So in this way, you can write multiple conditions, and based on that conditions, it will display you the data. And means both conditions should have to be true. These two values should be there. Let's suppose here if I write uh, Hyderabad, and now if I run this, no record is displaying because there is no address with Hyderabad. If I write here or, and now if I run this, so now it will display me the record. So here the condition, the meaning of or is either of one should be true. So it is checking address is Hyderabad, no, but roll number is 2. So yes, it is displaying the result of roll number 2. So if you write and, then both condition has to be true. If you write or, then any of the condition has to be true. And or there is not operator also. Not operator means where address here you have written equal to, instead of equal to you can write not. Not, how you will write not? So this symbol you have to write where address not equal to Hyderabad. So it will display you all the address which is not Hyderabad. So this is the symbol of not operator. Or you can also write in this way. Both way is fine. This is also an example of not equal to. One is equal to and this is not equal to. In this way, you can write multiple conditions. There are also multiple conditions. There is an in keyword. So the where clause in MySQL, where when we use together with the in keyword, it only affects the row whose values matches the list of the values provided in the in keyword. So here, what is the meaning is, so how you will write in keywords? So after where you will write in the opening closing bracket, you will write all the condition one by one, like roll equal to 2, comma, Uh, Here you have to write where roll n 2 and 3. So what it will do, it will select only those records where roll number is 2 and 3. So before that, you can only write one, you can select only one value. If you write here roll number, then you can only write one. So if you have to write multiple, you have to select multiple values at a single time. So then you can use in operator. So where roll in 2, 3. So it will ignore one and it will display you the details of 2 and 3. But if you do not use in operator, if you, so in what you can do, at one time you can only select one value. So initially we have written this thing, roll equal to 1. So only one value it will select. Multiple values you cannot select. Let's suppose you want to display the record whose roll number is 2, 3, 7, 9, 15. So at a time you can select the records of all these roll numbers using in operator. So you will write where roll in and all the roll numbers you just provide, it will display you the records of only those roll numbers at one time. So this is the uses of in operator with where clause. Apart from that, not in we have done. There is one more operator which is, let's suppose if you write here roll number is greater than 1, greater than 1. So it will display you all the records except roll number 1. If you write here less than 3, so it will display you the roll number records uh, whose roll number will be 1 and 2. That means less than 3. So greater than less than thing also you can write. So these are the different combinations that you can use with the where clause, and or in operator, then not in, then equal to, greater than, less than, not. All these operators you can use with the where clause. Okay. So anyone has anything to discuss? If not, then next is order by clause. In MySQL, order by is used in conjunction with the select query to sort the data in an ordered manner. That means order by clause is used with the select query only. The MySQL order by clause is used to sort the query result sets in either ascending mode or a descending mode. Let's suppose this is the select query. Here I will write order by, select asterisk from this table order by roll DESC. DESC means descending order. And if you select, so it will display the records uh, roll number wise in descending order. That means it starts with the maximum value, then 2 and 1. So in descending order, it will display you all the records. And if you write here ASC instead of DESC, so it will display you in ascending order. That means 1, 2, and 3. So order by clause is used to view the records in a table in a ascending or descending order. Okay. One more thing is, if you do not use ascending or descending order, like order by, and simply you have written gender, order by gender. And if you select, then all are males. So it is okay. So let's order it with name, order by name. Okay. So now see first Majid, then Rahul, then Sunny. So if you do not mention anything, you will just write order by name or order by role or anything. So it will ascend in alphabetical order. Like first M comes, then R comes, then S comes. On that basis, it is sorting. If you do not mention A S C or D E S C, so on the basis of alphabetical order, it will sort in ascending order. First M, then R, then S. So this is why we use order by clause. Okay. Is it fine or any confusion? Okay. Next is the group by clause. So the group by clause in SQL command that is used is it is basically used to group the rows that has the same values. So if I write here, uh, let's suppose if I write a query, select asterisk from table and group by uh, gender, and if I run this, one second. Okay, yes, this is what as of now in the database there are three records and the gender is male, right? So group by clause is basically used to group the rows that have the same values. Let's suppose there is a 10 records are available, out of which 5 is male and 5 is female. Let me insert a record, then you will understand. Okay. Okay. So one more record is added. Now in the table there are 4 records, out of which 3 is male and 1 is female. Now if I run this group by clause, so here I am selecting gender from this table and it will be grouped by gender. So in gender, how many values are available? 4 values, out of which 3 is male and 1 is female. So now if you run this, so it will display you the values. Like there is a value male which is multiple times. So for that it will only display you one times, and there is a female. So basically group by what it is doing, it is displaying you the unique values, in that particular column, the column that you are selecting. So here you are selecting gender. So in gender, you are grouped by gender. So what it is doing in the gender, it will check how many datas are available. Four, out of which three is male. So male is the value which has three value. So it will only display male, and one more is there, that is female. Let's suppose apart from male or female, if you write transgender, so here it will display you male, female, and transgenders. It means how many types of values you have inserted in that column. It will display you that one. Okay. So this is the meaning of group by. It will group if there are multiple values with the same. If there are multiple data, same value, so it will group all those value as a one. There are three males, so it grouped that one in a single value, that is male. So it is just giving you an information. These many data you have stored, male and female. Male and female values we have stored in the gender. Apart from male and female, there is no other data that you have stored. So this is the meaning of group by. Okay. So I'm not explaining more today because it will create confusion. It's better to practice first of all this query. There are still so many things. So now this is the basics of database that we have covered today. Next week there are two more classes. Next week the batch will finish. Two more class I will take where some advanced concept of database I will explain. Okay, so I'm giving all the query again, but I would suggest to practice. How to connect with the server? So Rahul, have you watched or have you seen the messages in the WhatsApp group? Just since from yesterday I'm messaging so many things. So if you again go and see, there will be a YouTube link. So that is why you are not updated. If you watch, if you go through all the comments in the WhatsApp group, there is a YouTube link. Just follow the YouTube, but you have to open WhatsApp because there I have shared or there I have shared the YouTube link of installing this database. So you have to install the database. Then you will then you can start using this the way I am using here right now. Okay, okay then thank you all for today's class.